Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Lauren.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. This morning, we've been working on something cool. As you guys know, we have a farm market where we sell many different products. Some of the products being the most popular would be our vegetables. Now, one product that we're gonna work on that's very, very popular is horseradish.
And I just use a knife. I find the knife easier.
I like the peeler.
I find a knife easier on the thicker stuff. Like I do this type of stuff last time.
Have any peelers down here?
I don't know if there is.
Now, horseradish is very popular where we live, and not too many people make it homemade the way that we do. So we sell quite a bit through our farm market. Probably one of the biggest reasons why people don't make it is because it's a process to get the finished product. First off, we cleaned all of our horseradish root. And then we move on to peeling it. Now, peeling it is very tricky because we want to take off this outside bark without taking too much of the white flesh, because this is where the horseradish gets its flavor. Now, when it comes to horseradish, cleaning off this bark is very important because it'll actually change the color of your finished product. Now, this is where the next part comes in. After we have a peeled piece of horseradish, we're gonna come through and chunk it up so that it's easier to fit through our grinder. Now, when it comes to peeling, there's two options you can use. You can use one of these vegetable peelers, which is faster, or you could use one of the knives. Now, when you use the knife, you can just slide right along the outside and you can do strips like this. And it doesn't put off near the amount of vapor that using one of these vegetable peelers puts off. And let me just tell you, when you start putting off a lot of vapors, this stuff burns your eyes. You will start crying and it will be hard to see. Now, when it comes to cutting up the horseradish after we have peeled it, I had mentioned that we like to keep it in smaller chunks. And the main reason for that is because this is a very porous material. It's very fibrous and it will actually clog up a grinder. And you do not want to deal with a grinder clogged with horseradish root. It is terrible. So to prevent that from happening, we cut it into smaller chunks, and this makes it run a lot easier through our grinder. Now, I'm not exactly sure where this horseradish root is coming from, but one thing I do love about it is it's very clean and there's not too many of these knuckles on here, because when you are peeling this horseradish, it makes it a lot easier for the skin to come off when your peeler is not getting snagged by every one of these little knuckles. Now, this is what we still have left when it comes to root, so we're gonna have to peel all of this, and so far this tub is what we have sliced up. You can see it really has a nice white color, and when we grind the stuff up, it looks and smells delicious. Now, when it comes to the smell of horseradish, you can't really smell anything after you do this job. This stuff has such a spicy, potent smell to it, and it really takes over all of your senses. It can even make you cry. Now, something that's really neat about horseradish, regardless of the name, horseradish, this stuff is actually poisonous to horses. So I don't really know why it's called horseradish, but I do know that it's poisonous to horses. And as we talked about earlier, horseradish has such a intense flavor, but this flavor isn't just experienced through the tongue. Most of the discomfort that people receive by horseradish, it goes through the nose and the sinuses, which is different from other things like hot peppers that affect your mouth. Now, I do know that horseradish has some health benefits, and one of the health benefits, I believe, is it lowers blood pressure. And something that we use it for is if your nose is stuffed, if your sinuses are stuffed, you just take some horseradish root out, you cut it up a little bit, and oh, that'll clear you out. What's amazing that even though horseradish will affect your senses like that, in some places they make ice cream out of it, and in others it's even used as a substitute for wasabi, which I thought that was really interesting. Horseradish root is just amazing all by itself. The plants will actually grow to almost 5 feet tall, and if you were to not disturb these roots, like if you were to just pull them out of the ground, never cut them or peel them, then they wouldn't have that potent smell. But the second you start slicing them up or grinding it, whoo-wee, does it get potent.
We eat dinner together every Sunday, and on some Sundays we have chicken or a turkey or pork or roasts, and we normally have a competition about who can eat the most horseradish. And I don't want to brag or nothing, but normally I win.
Daniel wants you guys to know that he hurt himself.
Daniel wants you to love me.
He hurt his arm working, and he doesn't feel any compassion from his family. So you guys give him some compassion. This root is really strong.
I keep saying that, but I think you're just a wimp. You're just a baby.
I'm just a baby, yeah. As tears are falling out of my eyes. Now that our horseradish is all peeled, we're gonna take it upstairs and we're gonna grind it. Quiet for 1 second, Anna. Just be quiet. I can't even film here. The girls won't let me film. Now, we've got our grinder set up in the back where the girls actually bag up the bulk foods, and we're gonna be dropping our horseradish right into the grinder. Now, we should probably do this outside, but if we're gonna suffer, then we wanna make the girls suffer too. That's why we're doing it in the back room here. So. I was talking to Gavin, and he had mentioned what they were working on. They actually just finished corn harvest this morning. I wasn't working with them. So corn harvest is all finished, which means we got the harvester put away for the year, which that brings us a lot of joy. My dad has always taught me growing up, if you can keep some of your equipment out of the rain, it will last much longer. So the second we're done with this piece of equipment, we like to put it away. Because we are so careful with our harvester, we didn't have any major breakdowns this year, which allowed us to fly through corn harvest. Well, now that the harvester's all put away till we harvest the wheat next year. Man, you got all that equipment put away super fast.
I was told it was supposed to rain 2 hours ago, so I'm right on schedule, 2 hours late.
So what are you going to do with the chopper?
I'm taking the chopper to go cut the corn stalks flush with the field. That way it can decompose into the ground and makes things easier for spring.
So altogether we have 35 pounds of horseradish. We're gonna be doing 20 pounds of regular white horseradish and 15 pounds of red horseradish, and we'll show you that that's a neat process. Now what we're doing is slowly adding the horseradish into the grinder, because the last thing you want to do is clog up your grinder with horseradish, because that is a terrible thing to take apart. Now this process takes a little time, but it's worth it when you think about the amount of time you'd have to take apart your grinder and then put it back together, because as we mentioned earlier, this stuff is very fibrous and it just binds up the whole machine. From doing this so many times, we've picked up little tricks that we can do to help make this an easier job on us. And one of the big things is putting a bag over where the horseradish comes out. Because you might not be able to tell, but there's not too much moisture in horseradish root. And when you look at the bag, it's actually starting to get condensation in there. And if we were to take that bag off, the smell that comes out is terrible. And I would be crying, and I'd have to close this thing constantly. But because we have the bag there, it makes this job a little easier.
Oh, there.
The bag broke open. What? You won't even look at it.
Look at what?
The bag.
What?
You won't even look at the bag.
What size does Tyler wear?
What's the matter, Daniel?
What's the matter, Andrew?
This is why we sell so much of this stuff, because it hurts to make it.
I'm scared.
You can only be so tough for so long until it really starts to hurt you.
I'm glad we did this up here and not downstairs.
Why?
So that more people could suffer.
Ain't bad.
Now some people will ask us, why do you put yourselves through this pain? We do it for the customers. You, Paul. This is terrible. I'm upset. Now we do two different types of horseradish. As you can see, we do the normal white horseradish, and this stuff is very, very strong. Now we also do a red horseradish. Now with the red horseradish, we add red beets to it, and that cuts down on the intensity of the smells and the flavors, but it also adds a sweeter flavor to the horseradish and makes it very, very popular.
I got here late, so I will take the bag off.
Well, this stuff's strong.
Did you know it's strong?
Whew. Tell them why you brought it outside.
I brought it outside because the wind blows out here, and then it's not so bad.
So now we're just adding vinegar until it's at the consistency that we want.
I think you need a little bit more vinegar. It's not quite. It's a little dry on top.
Why are we even doing this up here?
Apparently the main reason is so that everyone can suffer.
Hi.
So for the red horseradish, we have our cooked red beets already blended up, and this will get added to the horseradish along with vinegar.
Beautiful.
You technically don't need to add vinegar to this. You could just have the horseradish by yourself. We add it so as to preserve the horseradish, and it really helps to push the flavor through as you eat it. So now we're gonna take this horseradish, put it in the cooler.
I'm not
Yeah, move.
Are you eating your finger? Callie came down to help make horseradish. Actually, I don't even want her over here near the horseradish because if that starts making her cry, I'm gonna be upset. So we just finished dumping in the horseradish. Now we already had some red beet juice in here and we stirred it up, and you can see it's a nice pink color, but we want it to look darker than this.
Do it like half so it's easier to stir. Or put it all in.
Well, everything went relatively smoothly. It did hit my sinuses pretty hard, but now we've got our red and our white horseradish made. So we have 2 cows that we are sending to the butcher. That means we have to get them loaded up onto our trailer. So right now we're just getting all of our gates set in place so that this process is a lot easier. We just got finished loading up the cows, but now we're gonna be putting some chicken concentrate on the truck. There's not too much going on at the farm market, so I'm gonna go with Dad to deliver those cows. Anybody was curious how Lefty was? He's looking pretty good. He's been chopping corn stalks all afternoon. So we just got to my uncle's farm. I'm walking with my cousin. Now where they live, they farm 150 acres. And Darren does all the work.
Yeah, that's right.
Now on my uncle's farm, they take care of about 60 head of cattle, and then they've also got different types of chickens running around. Now they take care of just animals and do grain farming. They don't do any vegetables around here because Darren doesn't like to pick vegetables.
Well, it's not just that.
We just got all the chicken concentrate unloaded and into the barn. The weather's just took like a crazy turn, and it's really starting to storm, and it's really starting to get windy, so we're gonna be on our way home. Dad and I just got home with the truck, so all we're doing tonight is unhooking the trailer, and then we're gonna head in and eat.
Your dad's gonna be happy.
Enchiladas? I haven't had them in 3 years.
It has not been 3 years. It's been a little while, but not 3 years. They take a long time to make.
So that's what we're having for dinner tonight, enchiladas. I guess you can say the squeaky wheel gets the grease because he's been complaining about enchiladas for quite some time.
Just be happy I made them.
They look like the best I've ever eaten.
Daniel! I can't find my pants!
Hi, baby! I missed you today, honey. Come, Papa. Oh! Alrighty, guys. We are gonna sit down and start eating our dinner. So you guys know what that means. This is where we're gonna end the video today. We want to thank everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.